What's up, guys? After my first test with the Olight Osight not going as planned and the company trying to bash my review as flawed, make fun of my screws and my slide, I promised that I would never do an Olight product again. But there I was, walking around at SHOT Show, and I look over and I see an Osight booth. That's right, Olight had rebranded an entire company, the company Osight. Osight was also bragging about their new OAL material, which I couldn't figure out what it was, and when I googled it, it says that it actually is just nearly as lightweight as 775 aluminum while being tough and strong, which I think just means it's cheaper to make than 775 aluminum, and not quite as tough and not quite as strong. They do claim that they've tested the new sight with over 100,000 rounds, maintaining reliability and holding zero throughout, which did give me a lot of hope as their last one claimed to have only been tested with about 10,000 rounds. The outside of the optic differs from the original in having the Olight logo changed to the Osight logo, as well as the charging cap having the weird bumps on the outside removed, and most importantly, they've added a small lanyard hole at the top to mount a lanyard to the charging cap, so you don't lose it when you're using it. The new Osight also has a dual reticle with new packaging, as well as an installation compatibility sheet and torque specs. It's worth noting that every optic has always been 18 inch-pounds, and this is no different, but since Olight threw a tantrum last time saying that I wasn't able to torque it to spec, I used a torque driver and torqued both optics down with their included screws at about 19 inch-pounds. By the way, it's mounted to a Jagerworks slide with a Glock RMR cut, and Jagerworks is the industry leader for RMR cut slides. All right, so to get the Olight Osight here, I have the Osight branded Olight Osight. This is the Osight X. We're gonna do a 5-shot grouping. Thank you, Justin at Unlimited Ammo, for unintentionally sponsoring our bullets for this one. He's got really consistent 147 grain loads, so I'm using those for the grouping. All right, here we go. Ready? And it's on. I pulled at the bottom, but we're checking to see if it's like on and zeroed, and it's on and zeroed. So we are now going to, as you can see, that's clear. Clear. So we're gonna set that one down. And then with the Olight Osight branded that I had to also buy, we'll do another 5-shot grouping. Again, 147 grain, you know, you got the, we'll see, it's on, it's gonna be on. Anyway, there it is, also grouped on the bottom. The sight says that it's there and it's accurate. So now we're going to also, convenient, this is going to stay on my wrist the whole time so I don't lose it, because that's where I need it since the battery doesn't last that long without needing to be topped off. Yeah, anyway, now we're going to fire a bunch of rounds and do our thing. We'll get back into the testing part of it. After this, I naturally took out my good old Magpul magazine and gave it a few whacks, which, if we remember from last time, was enough to throw the zero off, and surprisingly it held up with no shift. This made me feel extremely confident, and so I did my normal testing, which was just grab a rock and give it a good few whacks to get started. Osight X. It already broke the glass.
Nice.
No impact to the glass, but it broke. See that? This is super unfortunate to see. As you can imagine, with 100,000 rounds of testing, they had to have at least once thought about hitting it with something hard a few times. See if it stayed zeroed though. What really matters, did it stay zeroed? No. Not even close. Now, if you're new here, then you know that I do really just hit everything with rocks. And the most common cope that I saw in my last test was people asking me if a regular optic could survive the rock drop. So I went and grabbed my Gideon optics rock, mounted it to the slide, and performed the exact same whacks and tests because I don't pull punches even against my sponsors. The Gideon, here's the Gideon dot real fast, not zeroed, but we'll get a 5-shot grouping, a rough 5-shot grouping. Anyway, rough 5-shot grouping, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And I hit the glass, and I hit Max's slide. Not broken. The glass is not broken.
right? Not.
Yeah, I think we're good.
So the glass on the Gideon did not break after all those whacks, and I suspect, wherever it is, and we're still zeroed. So the glass on the Gideon didn't break. The Gideon optic itself is still zeroed after that many whacks. And again, same price optic. This is what we're talking about.
Now, to no surprise, the Gideon rock was completely fine and held zero, which made me wonder how much weaker the original Osight was. So I dropped a rock on it from the A zone of one of our targets, and it completely shattered. Then I dropped that same rock at the same height on the Gideon rock, and it was completely fine.
Not broken.
This is probably a good and a safe time to thank Gideon Optics for sponsoring the channel, and sorry guys that I smashed another one of your optics just to prove a point, as well as a thank you to Arrowhead Tactical Apparel for the comfortable and warm hoodie that you gave me that I'm wearing in this video. And remember guys, use our code PLEASE at checkout for a discount on your order of optics or comfortable carry clothing. It's really worth noting I wanted this to work, so it really sucks when a company like this not only wastes my time, but your guys' time, and also now my money. Because I had to purchase these just to do a review, and the optic didn't even pass the first test to be able to give it a full shooting test and review. Now you're probably wondering what happened to the second optic, because obviously I did buy an Olight Osight as well. And actually what happened to this was I set it down and tried to drop the rock from a very small height in the hopes that it could say it survived a shorter drop from the same rock, but it actually also shattered, making it, again, unusable for the test. So no, the Osight is not fixed, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're actually trying to make it any better, so this will conclude my review of Olight products.